All right, we're starting up the stream at 1:15. Um, I've just come off of a meeting, so I'm kind of scatterbrained. Hopefully, this goes okay. Close a few things up here. Let's see, testing levels 1, 2, 1, 2. They look okay. Let me get this stuff over here. Live channel. Is it live? Live? I can hear sound. It looks like something's happening. Hopefully the stream is going to work. Buffering. Okay, let me pull up my Visual Studio Code, Typora. This seems to be the wrong. No, this is right. 9, 10. This is Monday. Wait, what did I call this? Monday, September 11th. Part 3, GHDR report. Okay, I think I might as well just turn this thing on. So, here we are. Or, oh wait, there's a delay on it. So, happy Monday, or it's 9/11. I have a day of infamy. I guess I'll give a few seconds of remembrance. Rededicating myself to doing something with my life because who knows how long it's going to be. So today's goal is to, as you can see on the title, Groundhog Day resolutions report for September 9. The ninth is, this is, I think, report number 7. There's 10 of them a year, starting on Groundhog's Day, on February 2nd. So I'm at the stage now where I am polishing up the work of the past 2 days. I started writing the report on the 9th, and I worked on it again on the 10th. And there are different stages of it. I can pull that up. So you can see, like, we did data collection first, then I did the media review, and I wrote like the first structure of it. Now I've got to do the proofreading, condensing, polishing, and then post this thing up. And the challenge is I really hate reading my own writing. So um, by live streaming it, maybe this will shame me into doing it with more alacrity. That's what I'm hoping, anyway. Um, so I guess let's just get going to it. So proofread, condense, and polish. So let's take a look. I don't want to do this. Let's go to my screen mode. Let's go to the larger screen. No, I guess that's okay. I guess we can go to the full screen. It's a little bit easier to see what I'm looking at. This should be streaming in HD 1080p. So I think this might be legible. Okay, so this is the report. This is in Visual Studio Code in my personal knowledge management system, which is cobbled together from Eleventy and some custom code to do additional indexing. And this is where I've been posting all my Groundhog Day resolution things. So let's move this. Oops. So over here, this is the actual live site, I think. Yeah, so like under the GHDR area, this is where I post all the reports. There's a previous location for these in my old website, but I've moved this over to here last year. Was it last year? Some of this stuff is kind of old looking. What? This 2007? Oh, wait, is this the right? Yeah, this is the right site. Did I actually start this in 2022? I guess I did. I just realized I misremembered a date in what I was writing about. But anyway, let's kick off the PKMS with the Garten command. I call my system Sri Garten because it's a digital garden. I'll just see if people are watching. Hello, people. How is everyone today? You put this in the background as you're working on things, and like you'll draw off the energy of someone struggling with work, so you don't feel as bad about what you have to do. That's the magic of co-working. All right, so I've just kicked off the server on this side. And let me make this a little bit smaller because we don't need to really see all this stuff over here. And boy, do I not want to look at this. I've started a local server though, so at least what I can do is I can go to my server. So this is the actual site running locally on my computer before I push everything up, and I can just jump to this. I'm surprised this is showing up in the index. Probably because I haven't. I thought I hid that. That shouldn't be showing up because I have designated this file as a hidden file, and yet it is still showing up here in updated files and drafts, which might mean that I didn't purge it. Actually, it should have gone away. Let me just try this again. I'll debug that later. Ideally, when I put a dash in front of the file name in my right over here, if you can see that, this is the report I'm writing. When I put a dash in front of it, the system is supposed to ignore that and not put them in any of the indices. This, like for example, is updated files and drafts area, this recent update screen, but it's showing up here for some reason, which means I might have broken something. But let me force refresh this to make sure. Yeah, that definitely is an issue. Anyway, I am still going to have to read this. I don't want to. Let me read it out loud. Happy September 9th. I made quite a bit of progress since month. I'm already irritated, so I'm going to do something cheesy, which is to, you probably could guess this is coming. I'm going to open up Chat GPT and just have it proofread it first, because in the moment of proofreading, what that will do is it will give me a reason to look through the code, look at the prose that I've written, making like changes like dumb grammar things, misspellings, stuff like that. Um, and in the process of looking and finding it, I will invariably want to rewrite the paragraphs I hit upon. And then for a final step, what I'll do is I'll just have it ChatGPT evaluate this for legibility and readability. I guess readability is the term I'm looking for. Legibility is visually being able to distinguish what you're looking at. So, as I recall, this was too large to fit into um, ChatGPT all at once. So, let me move this screen on this side just so it's a little bit easier to paste into. And there is a specific conversation I keep in ChatGPT, which is related to all the blog writing I have. So which it doesn't save all of the context for it. It's only on a session basis. So today I'm logging in, so anything I guess put in the past 24 hours I might keep. I'm not actually sure about that, but I've been using this as a sounding board for evaluating my writing without having to do it necessarily by myself. So I am going to. I guess I need to assemble this into another document first. That's the best way to do that. We'll just grab this note thing. And we'll paste it into this. This is Includer I'm using, which is a nice way of just like grabbing access to useful things by scrolling down with the mouse. I love it. Okay, so there's a token limit in ChatGPT, meaning that I can only paste a certain amount of text in at any one time. What just happened here? Just stuffing that in there. I am removing all the sidebar and other content in here. So we'll do a proofread of the first, right up to here, I think. So there is my text. And it's strange. How come, what happened to the rest of the stuff? Strategic, did I replace everything? It's time for another. What is this text? It seems to be missing things. Or is there a limit to how big this note can be? Strategic horizons. Oh. Okay, that's there. I didn't copy everything. Or I lost all this stuff in the beginning. Oddly. Let's see if this is small enough to fit in. I'll add a little bit of metadata here. Title. Why? Is this a different note? Ugh, dang it. I guess not. Okay, so did I copy the right chunk? No. Found a building and destination. So there's that part. And now let's paste this into here. And see what it says. Evaluate the following text from the author. For spelling and grammatical errors. Do not I'll just leave it at that. It might make other suggestions that I don't want. Summarize the changes as a bulleted list. This is one part of several. This text, several to follow. Let's see if this fits. It might be too big. The input might be too large. Here are the corrections. It told me it's correctly spelled. Don't tell me what's correct. First pair, replace forcing production. Okay, that definitely is a misspelling. So forcing suction production. Okay. Welcome. Replace workwise. I've been pushing with workwise. I've been pushing. Workwise isn't strictly incorrect, but workwise is more commonly used. I did not know that. Workwise. Huh. Who knew? Consider replacing is a good way with this. This was also a good way. This was also a good way with this. How's this? Oh, interesting. It's suggesting this instead of it. What's the grammatical reason for that? A. Oops. It is a good. I don't even see where this is. Oh, wait, it was also. It was also. Actually, that is correct. That's a bad habit. I am going to keep that. Add a link to the NaNoWriMo word counting calendar because it is missing. That's a good catch. Oops. NaNoWriMo. Oh yeah, look at that. It is missing. What is there? Where is the link to that? Nano. I'm just looking at off screen. NaNoWriMo word counting calendar. I think that's I can do it on this. There we go. I believe that's correct. Good. All right. What else are you suggesting? Replace, and I am aware that someone has to stand up for it too, and I recognize that someone has to champion it. No. I am aware. Well, let me reread this paragraph. As I've been talking to people about the kind of intentional community that I'd like to be in, that is the kind of. Let's say I'd like. It's starting to become apparent to me. That's a double. So I'm removing all the Weasley things. It's become apparent that I have to think of take a leadership position. Champion what? To champion it, I guess. I probably, well, I guess it did affect me. I used the word champion just because it said it. And I am aware. I naturally don't like I don't naturally, yeah, this is awkward. Yeah. Why do I talk like this? I don't like being in charge of other people, or of people, I should say. And this whole sentence is superfluous. But I want to be part of it. I want to be in a community that extols the values that I hold dear. And this is a good place for a side note. Let's call this ICC. This is detailed. Some side notes and side note. Let's reread this. So the intent here is just to say I have to become comfortable being a leader of some kind for the kind of community that I want to be a part of, because it doesn't exist. Oh dear. Currently, it doesn't. fully exist. Doesn't. I guess I can leave that out. Let's see if that makes clear. Since it's my idea, it's my idea and desire. I've got to. I figure it's my responsibility to make it happen. In the past, I've just talked about it in my blog and occasionally in the Coworking Discord. Okay. That takes care of that. And this, I describe the feeling to my friends as not being from here, feeling like an alien too. I've described my feelings. I don't. Feeling like an alien. All right, so I guess I'm like now I'm invested in proofreading the rest of this area. So what does it look like? My voice sounds really weird. Oh, Mikko, what's the animated typing thing? Asking. Oh, it's an animated chat GPT thing. Interesting. Oh yeah. That's what the user interface looks like. I think when I type in things like this, there's not very many. Oh, look what it said. Remember, while these corrections address spelling and grammar, the voice and tone of the originals are preserved. The author has a unique and engaging style that should be maintained. Isn't that nice? Now I'm all distracted. Let's see. Let's see. And then put that up. That. All right. I'm proofreading the rest of this. I've described. I described the feeling to my friends. Okay, so this previous. Oh, there's a double I've described. So I've talked about I want to be a leader in the first paragraph, or rather, being a leader is necessary. I think that being a leader is now necessary. And I'll just say the place. The place where the tribe conducts day-to-day life as a colony. Starting to think there must be more to an outpost way from mainstream. As the leader, promoting the name of the intentional community. Where the tribe let's fix this. This is described detailed. I call this the tribe. Let's get rid of that. Let's bold that values. Oops, that didn't work. The values I hold dear. Let's leave out the reference and see if that works all right. And let's be more, it's my responsibility to make it happen. Because no one, I just talked about it on my blog. And, in the past, I've just talked about it in my blog and occasionally in the Coworking Discord. But I think I have to commit to making it my responsibility to lead. The main idea behind this community is to there's two ideas actually. There's the main ideas behind it are, and we're going into bullet point mode. This is a place where, you know what, did I forget to commit this to my source control? It looks like I did. Dang it. Let me copy all of this and let me just undo everything I did and then paste it back in, because I want to commit this as a draft in source control before I make the changes so I can compare them. So I wonder if the undo buffer is long enough. I guess so. Yay. Save that. Repaste it. But don't save it. And where is the... This is the one. Let's stage this. Let's pull this NVMRC out. Yeah, I know. I'm using a GUI for Git because I don't want to remember all those Git commands and the weird inconsistent formatting. GHDR 0909. First draft. Let's commit that. And now I can save this. And I can now see what I've been changing in here. That will be interesting. And of course, so now I've just lost my place. So that was under leadership as an envoy. The main ideas behind this community are the main, not ideas, the main intent. I don't know what that's going to be called. It's what I want to do is list what it is. It's this statement. And then the second one is this part. And so we'll rewrite it after this. There are two qualities that I'd like in this community, which I've informally dubbed as the colony, where the tribe um, can conduct a. Sounds like there's a lawnmower outside. Apologies, apologies. And the tribe is trope. Ah, trope. Um, the tribe uh, affairs. To make a living. In support of their own goals. In general, the colony affirms a universal set. Oops, I use affirms a set of positive values. Let's see, as a culture of affirming positive values. That appeal to to those who enjoy sharing their knowledge let's cut this down. That there's a culture that appeals to those who like sharing their knowledge for positive gain by all. Specifically, I say not specifically, more personally, it is a place where it's a place that where a diverse this lawnmower is driving me crazy. I mean, I'm a little bit stuck on this. The thing that I'm trying to explain is it's like the island of misfit toys. There are a bunch of people who are different, like myself, who have maybe been made an outsider. This is a place where they can be seen and appreciated. So there's a kind of acceptance of diversity and where divergence can be celebrated. Divergence and new idea. Divergence, where groups of people who don't fit into mainstream expectations can be seen and understood. It's called this. It's also a place. It's also a place where groups who may have been who have made to feel like outsiders due to their unconventional ways of looking can be are allowed conventional ways can are accepted. Mm, specifically, I'd like to make it a place. I'd like and for example, I specifically have many neurodivergent traits and values. It's difficult to find places where it is safe to express them. Find communal places. Um, two qualities I'd like. I'm saying quite. There's several important qualities I see in this community. Um, a culture that appeals to people, that like sharing their knowledge. A place where let's see, what's the term? Not and to be made into outsiders, where people with unconventional ways of of seeing the world are accepted. Feel safe. This culture is expressed by idea of the tribe. And I am getting the feeling that I am not going to finish this within 12 hours. At this rate, I'm going to have to. There are several important qualities that I have. Mm, formally, this community is what I've been calling colony. Formerly, the place where this A will exist. Called the colony. This is really awkward. I think I'm losing track of what I'm trying to say. So I probably need to pop up out of this level. Um, this is all duplicate. That's just the stuff I mean. I don't think I actually need this sentence. Or any of this, rather. Let me just grab the pertinent factual elements of this. This is like color commentary and lore about like how I feel like an alien all the time, but I think I just have addressed that up here. So I don't need to go into these details or talk about the Envoy of the Moon stuff. Is this actually in the Envoy session? Oh, okay. The segue is just referring to the idea of an envoy, but I think that is too much stuff to overload. I can overload that section. I'm talking about the style of leadership. So I should close this paragraph with you can just say the style of leadership I'm considering is to be an envoy of the colony, which let's say an ambassador for the, is it of the colony or for the colony? I think it might be of the, for of the colony. The ambassador. Uh, it's and the kind of leadership that fits me is that of being an ambassador for our culture. To amuse myself, I've been thinking of a title, Envoy of the Moon. Envoy of the Moon. A little bit bigger so it's easier to read. I've been calling this position my job is to represent the colony's values, cultural, and material interests. Seeking mutually beneficial. Oh, did it not catch that? I don't think it did. Beneficial. Yeah, here's a typo didn't catch. Um, this approach appeals to me personally as well as a neurodivergent person who would otherwise have to mask to assimilate. For safety reasons in the dominant culture. By being an envoy from somewhere else. Dominant. I can have the same masking techniques for diplomatic purposes. Masking is still emotionally demanding, but there is the feeling that I have a home somewhere else. I'm proud of that. I don't have to live. I don't have to assimilate to values that don't. I can still negotiate for benefits, mutual benefit within the dominant society and bring them home. I don't need to talk about this. Actually, I don't need to talk about this. I want to keep that. Yeah, I think a tendency I have is I tend to overwrite a lot of emotional feelings when I'm writing these drafts. And then if I'm preparing them for public consumption, I need to remove all of that stuff as much as possible. Just sort of hint at it. But it is useful just to write that stuff out. Mm. So now I'm recasting this out without the personal stuff. So how does this see ambassador? As envoy. The colony, which in my headcanon is on the moon. any pattern I think will work is to to implement. I want to kind of feel like a place people want to go to and learn about. And thus, the responsibilities of an envoy would be to promote our cultural values, share our cultural values and unique trade goods, negotiating this is ambassadors in the real world engage in influence and soft power operations. And I think that applies to the colony as well. To put a personal spin on it, I actually don't need the rest of this. I can leave that. It's not complete, but the idea is not to dump everything into someone else's head, but to give them the idea that this is generally what it's about. If they have questions, they can ask. So let's see. Let me continue going through this. Although I've changed all of this stuff. Yeah, all of this stuff is gone. Let me go back to the note and see where I left off. Where did I leave off? It was at the end of this strategic horizons thing. Choosing leadership. Let's delete that. Let's go back over here. That section. And there is mitigating. That's it. Maybe I will finish this early. Let's make sure that this is clear of stuff. It's much easier to edit within this thing. There's some looking for side content to remove any image tags, like right here. Actually, I'll leave that in. This side. There's actually text in there, so let's just paste it in there. Here is the second part of the draft. Proof read for typos, typos and grammatical errors. Summarize all found issues. As a bulleted list. A concise bulleted list. All right, pasting it in. What will ChatGPT find in terms of errors? Here are the issues identified. Turn of thinking and turn off thinking. That's legit. Oh, spelling error. Inconsistent with side notes. Within. So I'll do these misspelled words and typos, and then I'll look at these find these things and I'll just rewrite that section. I just hate looking for typos. So let's see. Turn off, turn of thinking. That's that. Ambiguous communicatio. Oops. Continuation. Inconsistent form. Skip that. Within. I wonder if Grammarly does this. I've never used any of those grammar tools before. So all right. So now grammatical and structural issues. The sentence, when I was expressing, I really try to listen to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that could be more succinct. Let's see, find that. Tried to listen. All right. So mitigating emotional dysregulation. That was one of the main insights I had last month. And let's clean this up. So what I'm going to try to do is actually I'm gonna try something here. Let's try this. Summarize the key idea behind of each paragraph and bullet point of the text entered in the previous input. Be concise. Afterwards, summarize the possible intentions of the author, their position, and create an executive summary intended for high level seminar style discussion. I'm tempted to add, but be happy. But when I have asked ChatGPT to be happy, it's been stupid. So I'm curious what this will produce. I'm using this as a reflection tool just to see. Generally, it does an okay job of like pulling up kind of the things that I'm talking about and recasting them as like neurotypical or the language that mainstream society might use. So this gives me an idea of like how does what I'm talking about align with other people. Although it's not necessarily something that aligns with me, so I can't use this stuff as is. Oh wait, this is looking at all of the text, or is it? Oh no, it's not. So okay, that's the first section. Effectiveness, introduction of a term, understand, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is not very useful. So I'm recalling a bad time. I've given it a name. I've identified parts, what it looks like. I've described mitigations. Yeah. Okay, so, and then the PDF maker is relatively straightforward. Printed product, straightforward. What's next? Possible intentions of the author. This is what I'm interested in. Share personal experiences and challenges related to emotional dysregulation. Offer potential coping mechanisms. Yeah, this is not. The author is introspective, critically analyzing their emotional professional challenge. They're solution oriented, seeking strategies to overcome personal barriers, and are proactive in professional endeavors. The executive summary. The author provides a deep dive into their personal battle with emotional dysregulation and exploring the triggers and introducing coping strategies they developed. Amidst this personal journey, they also highlight their professional projects from software development to launching physical products, uh, underscoring the relationship between their emotional state and productivity. That's actually that's actually a pretty good insight. The text is both an exploration of mental health and entrepreneurial journey, and an entrepreneurial journey, offering insights on how the two can intersect and affect each other. In a seminar setting, this can open up discussions on the broader relationship between emotional health, productivity, and the creative and entrepreneurial process. That sounds hot. I mean, like I could see that in being in a panel description or something. But have I gained anything from this? I think this emotional dysregulation is the one that I'm looking on now, and I think I can structure this more clearly now. And so instead of this conversational way of when I was experiencing depression earlier in this month, let me make this more factual and to the point. Um, and I can just lead into what I did. I applied hermit mode. Um, I can just be very brief about this. Due to what did I say specifically? Let's see. I was facing a lot of let me just say feel. I was feeling quite negative about work earlier in the month, and applied a technique I called I call hermit mode. And here I can put the side note back in. Uh, the This is a form of, I'll say, turning off my emotions for the sake of because they are not being helpful. Um, like they are because they are um, distractions, or let's say irrational distractions. They are certainly real and real experiences that I am having, and I take them very seriously. As such, emotions reveal often reveal other important personal issues that I haven't that I'm not fully conscious of emerging personal issues, let's say. And I'll have to deal with eventually. But many times. They don't need to be constant, but they don't need to be constant. But in the case, let's see, if in the case where I have no control over over the triggering situation, the here's like a stoic thing over the situation. In the case where I'm trying to say that in the case where there are no dire immediate, where there are no immediate dire consequences, um, or ability to control, make changes and change. No immediate consequence, dire consequences, immediate um, into the actions or that I can take. They end up being distracting. And so I can get rid of all of this. To prevent distraction. For relief from negative thoughts. Let's make a side note here too. Side note. Emotions are real experiences. And I take them very seriously. They often reveal emerging personal issues I'll have to deal with sometime. But when I don't have control over the context, over the situation, or however, when faced, I could just leave it at that. I don't need to like go so much into the theory of this inside note. Unless someone asks about it, but I think that's a different. I should note that I'm not ignoring my emotions, but am just setting them aside for now because there's nothing I can, because there's no emergency. A couple of hours because one, there's no emergency. There's no emergency, and or there's nothing I can do about it just by being anxious. That said, my emotions are real experiences and I take them very seriously. I'll deal with some time. That emotional processing step is can be deferred. This is what I'm talking about here. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. And what the hell happened with this? Oh, what is this? Oh, that's the GH. This is the wrong. This is the wrong year. GHDR 2023 0909. Why isn't that not showing? Did I kill the? Oh, that's okay. That's what's showing the update. It's showing the old one. Um, Interesting. This is not telling me the date of that, so I should look at this. I guess I need to put subdirectories into this listing. Yeah, how come we can't get that one? It should be being generated. Unless I have completely disabled. Yeah, I guess I did just completely disable it. 2023. Can I get it? It's currently only in. So if I disable that and I rerun the building process, and now can I look at it? Is it done? Yeah, okay. And I just want to see what my sidebar looks like. This is the leadership of an envoy thing. Okay. Scroll, scroll, scroll. And so now I'm going here this is stuff I don't need to talk about. Um, huh. hmm As I've been reading about ADHD and autism, um, the ADHD and autism literature talk about something called emotional dysregulation. And I have been considering whether this is part of what I'm experiencing. Let's find a link on emotional dysregulation. Is there WebMD, Psych Central? That's like a legitimate sounding. Wait, is this the same? This is not Psychology Today. This is some other garbage site. All right, Wikipedia. Range of emotional responses. Symptoms, self-harm, eating, addictions. This is talk about Recently, I've been reading about or learning about. Reading about. This is a topic, a symptom, a range of emotional dysregulation. I keep trying to label everything. This is a concept. This is an idea. This is a fact. I had to remember I don't need to do that. That's totally like a neurodivergent way of processing things. It is a kind of this. And recently, I've been reading about emotion in the context of autism and ADHD. What I'm experiencing it occurred to me that my hermit mode, my so-called hermit mode, is a mitigation of this. So I itemized everything that I know of that seems to fit the pattern. Understimulation. Overstimulation. Um, uh, so when this itemized list of potential emotional dysregulation patterns, these are feelings and then my interpretation. This pattern, I'll just say feeling understimulation. This feels like sensory starvation. Triggers are not enough exciting things happening. And like having people to talk to about the work I'm doing or other interesting distractions. The lack of a success. If the feeling persists for over 10 days, I crash into severe depression. On a daily basis, binge behavior it also expresses as binge behavior. And the scrolling, difficulty sleeping, despite physical tiredness. inability to regulate eating is like my brain is starving and is desperate for any sensory input. Overstimulation. This feels like um, exhaustion from deep mental processing. Um, Triggers are um, personal or meetings, any social interaction. Triggers are people. Any communication, unknown. Are non-friends. Any communication with ambiguous intent, concern about being misunderstood or um, or judged. Um, I think this is a biochemical stress response. It always takes hours to fade away. Mental exhaustion. This feels similar to overstimulation, but is not tied to social interactions. Instead, it's triggered by any uncertainty that doesn't have a clear definition. It's triggered by lack of clarity, or that's not quite true. Instead, it's triggered by ambiguity and lack of care experienced in the pursuit of something. Unknown caller. Who the hell is this? Can I stop this? Oh wow. Does my GPU just ship? I think that's what that was. Maybe they'll leave a message. In the pursuit of. And so I'm saying it's instead triggered by ambiguity and a lack of care. It's triggered by experiencing from someone other than me. Examples: bad documentation, logically inconsistent information, biggest communication, nonsensical, poor work ethic. So I become highly annoyed and often have to mask my response. This rapidly burns up my reserve of mental energy. And which makes any kind of decision making impossible until it recharges. Ruin it. Leave that stuff out. Pure nutrition over. Yeah. This feels like mental fuzziness. Or mental muddiness. It's hard to stay focused, and there is a strong desire to nap. Triggers are reading high glycemic foods, e.g. sugar, breads, refined carbs. Too much at one time. The result is similar to mental exhaustion. In this state, I engage in binge behavior. Or I don't think I do binge behavior in mental. I seem to fall into a stupor where I can't motivate myself to do anything. Underhydration and vitamin deficiency. It's taking forever. Let's see. Anyone in still? Oh, there's 3 people in the chat. Hello, people in the chat. Let's see. Underhydration. Is underhydration hyphenated? and overeating. Let's say high carb or overeating. Uh, this is this feels less like a mental sluggishness and more like physical. This is a physical. This is the physical version of mental exhaustion. Underhydration, eating, and vitamin deficiency. Triggers are not eating enough or drinking enough water, not eating a minimum amount of food, consuming a minimum amount of food and drink. And also note that lack of vitamin D and vitamins B over time lead to a general and accompanying mental sluggishness. Sometimes feeling which feels like thoughts not completing and brain fuzz. It's also similar to feeling understimulated. I'm actually not sure if it's the same experience. Triggers. The trigger seems to be caught. The triggering seems to be lack of eating and drinking enough. And that's somewhat rare in my case. Usually don't have issues with food with too little food intake, but I often forget to drink enough water, around 50 to 60 ounces. Um, Vitamins, also particularly D and B, also have a subtle effect on my alertness. I can't quite characterize, but as it takes a few weeks for it to get really bad. Lastly, eye strain. This feels like a headache, which creates a response similar. This feels like a headache behind my eyes and in around my temples, with the added bonus of extreme sleepiness. And the response trigger is unbalanced light glare. When more light is entering one eye than the other, um, poorly calibrated eyewear, eyewear, glare, and too much contrast between light and dark of the screen. If there is no other explanation, this is the, let's leave it at that. Within my line of sight. To mitigate these feelings, and applying these countermeasures using the turning off emotion, turning off my brain. To wait to get out get out of bed in the morning when I'm not feeling particularly motivated because of, and I'm not feeling And there is no reason to wake up. No exciting reason to wake up. My brain is pretty useless. Trying to negotiate something fun to convince my lizard brain to do something, to agree, is futile. Mm-hmm. Let's see. And I turn off this useless negotiation between and just let the feet usually and just concentrate. I think this has a stimulation effect of getting my blood flowing. Increased energy. Stimulation. Sensory stim. Taking a shower imparts the sensation of water on my skin, which I think wakes my brain up. Likewise, I now make pour over coffee because the additional caffeine does seem to help. Morning 15-minute commitment to self. The first hour of the day after showering and having coffee. Showering. The first word afterwards, let's say. Afterwards is peak energy, peak mental clarity. And I try. I've been doing a 15, what's that called again? 15-minute motivational push. It's say.com, 15-minute motivation push. What is that called? Motivation. What do they call it? I think it's probably down here. PDF maker. There. What was I? $15-minute visiting the commitment takes the form of a pact with another human, which we've agreed on a specific time to get into the same video chat room and work on our most important personal project for 15 minutes. This also gives me a reason to wake up. And additional to wake up early gives me not an addition, gives me a real reason to wake up, because I consider personal commitments like this to be sacred promises. This is what is helping regularize my schedule in a meaningful way. Is that it? Like, let's call this allowing ample unstructured I am stopping work as close mental work close to 5 p.m. as possible, because to give my brain enough time to wind down. It seems to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 8 hours. Hours of unstructured goofing around. To stimulate my brain. I allow myself to wind, to relax, and to relax, to relax. And to relax. Seems to take about 8 to 10 hours of unstructured goofing around. So I can fall asleep. If I work past 5 p.m., that pushes out the time I fall asleep, which means that when I wake up for the 15-minute commitment self, I will be underslept, unable to think. I'll be forced to take a nap. Let's see. Intermittent fasting. I find it difficult to eat in moderation because this requires too much um, conflict between sensory seeking, food, sensory, the pursuit of sensory experience, and this requires too much thinking. If I am already in a mental exhaustion state, my decision making is out of the is out of whack, and I will tend to go into a binge consumption state. Eat too much. It's a lot easier to tell myself no eating until such a time. And using that as a end of day sensory sim that also helps me get sleepy for bed. By 5 p.m., I'm winding down anyway. I try to stop eating 4, 5, 6 at 10 p.m., 9 or 10 p.m. So I go to sleep not feeling overly full, but not hungry either. It's been promising. Okay, I think that's what I can do. And let's look at PDF Maker. How much time has elapsed? When did I start this? It's 113 minutes ago, so about almost 2 hours I've been doing this. It feels like I'm getting close to finishing this report. I've basically rewritten it all, the entire thing. Um, but I guess that was worth doing. All right, so now I'm feeling encouraged to keep pushing through this now. Let's see. Let's see. Um, hmm. Do I need a bio break? I feel like I need something to drink. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. It's 3 p.m., which is getting close to my cutoff time for the day, which I just wrote about. It would be nice to actually work on some code stuff, but like I said, I don't want to be drawn into thinking too much because like what will happen is hyper focus might kick in, and then I'll end up trying to fall asleep or trying to wind down at 10 or 11. I'll eat too much, and then I'll be up for the next 8 hours trying to sleep or sleep very poorly. So it's just this very careful balance I have to do. In fact, figuring out the balance between all these mitigations, though, continues to be a challenge. I really can't trust myself have to moderate. Because balance is something I'm actually quite bad at. I'm I suspect I'm much better at making black or white decisions, e.g. the intermittent turning off emotions, turning off brain that have beneficial results. I might be better. Perhaps it cuts down on uncertainty, which is a trigger for all kinds of emotional dysregulated. That's not a bad way to run that scale. I use 15 minutes like on the production side of things. I've been using the I thought I posted this somewhere. I guess I didn't. I've been using the maintain 15 minutes a day. As as I mentioned in the previous section, or as mentioned previously, I've been using the 15 minutes a day process to mentioned above to start building a PDF generation tool to automate production of my various productivity tools. It's I'm using JavaScript as the environment. It's still in the very early prototype phase. At the moment, the software makes an ugly looking PDF and a text only compact calendar. Here's the image. This took about 3 weeks of 15-minute daily pushes. When I felt I was in the zone. It feels great to finally start doing this. Making progress on this as the NaNoWriMo word counting calendar as the time to make the NRM is fast approaching. And this is a pain in the ass to make. Not have this. Okay, so Lincoln. By hand. As a bonus, I'm using JavaScript as the development for, oops, as the development. Why is that not working? In development environment. Which is the same as the billable project work I've been doing for the Learning Sciences grants. I get to use fancy new build tools, which I can then, what's it, backfit into those projects. I love it when I can find synergies between my personal interests and my work. All right, that sounds okay. Printed products. Why is this space there? Is that right? I guess that's right. Also in production news, a new run of ETP Sika is out. They should be arriving in the Amazon warehouse soon. No bullshit issues. They remove the negativity. Side note, ID equals AMZ. And side note, we find the link for that. Amazon.com. I don't know if this will find it. Oh, look. I need to raise the price of that. That needs to go to $14 because of the price. The price of production has gone way up. I'm going to lose my shirt if I don't change that. Okay, where was that? The Amazon listing. Oops. Is there a... I'm surprised this is already here. I can't change the branding name either because Amazon sucks ass. Actually, I wonder if there's been any reviews on this. 122 ratings? Great for engineering type roles back in last November. Not for me. Great, but the letter size. These are like old. It's good the ratings are still relatively high. That's not bad. Some of these pictures could be updated. How come we can't copy? Where is that? Here. That's huge ass. That's the link I need. Let's double check it. Yeah, the price needs to go up by at least $2. In general, the price of production and stuff has risen 50%. So I don't want to charge $18 for this thing though. I'll do that after this. Let's see what this looks like though. This is almost done. What is a built-in spell checker for Visual Studio Code? These are all language grammars. Spell check? Huh, there are spell checkers. Code spell check? Common spelling errors. Spell checker. Offline spell checker. 3.5 stars. Spell checker for spell right. What is that? Multilingual spell. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Oh, you can get a Grammarly plugin. I should figure out what this Grammarly thing is. I believe this is a Ukrainian software product, and so maybe it would be nice to support them. I don't know if they're evil or not, though. Being Ukraine. At some point, I'll have to check out what this Grammarly thing is all about because I've been using ChatGPT for it, but maybe it would be helpful just for catching some of these typo things because I hate doing that kind of proofreading. I think Grammarly might use AI stuff too. I don't know. Any of you guys out there familiar with it or any other spell checking tools? Right, so I'll be putting in an order for the ETP mini notebooks. What are these? These are called the what? They're not the 8511s. They're the 5885 mini notebooks. Soon. And so I do. This is awesome opportunity. This I can put at the end. One possibility is to use services of my commercial printer graphics and see how that might work. The owner of the company has expressed willingness to try. What's next? Top of mind. These are the priorities I have right now. trial. See if I can, or place Amazon with fulfillment through Shopify with my commercial printer providing pay the ETP, pay my current invoice, paper graphics, then get continue using 2-minute pushes and live streaming as a way to stay engaged with work. As these seem to help with emotional regulation and executive function. That's it for, thanks for reading. All right, so now let's really go to the very top of this. And see. It's time for another Groundhog Day resolutions report. Let's add a link to that. Or a side note. Side note. L's and types a J. I don't know what that means. Maybe a type of ID equals GHDR. And side note. Ugh. And the link for that is my yearly strategic goal setting based that starts February 2nd rather than January 1st. System described. Let's see. See this explainer. Is there a better one? Do I have a good explanation link for GHDR these days? I don't think I do. I think I have this. Maybe this works. This is under GHDR term, GHDR. GHDR term, GHDR. This is brief explainer. Actually, why even like, I'll just copy and paste that text. Actually, I should just link to this. This brief HDR explainer. GHDR term, GHDR. What does this look like? Groundhog Day resolutions, aka GHDR, are last month. To recap, um, picking up from last month's insight that I was over structuring my tasks. I reduced the scope of my main production goals. The main one, the main concern was writing materials to explain what the colony explain the colony. Oh, I should put a side note here too. Side note ID equals col and side note. And let me just grab them. Maybe this is a good approach, just to provide like the really short descriptions of things. I need to rewrite this. My main concern was to write. My main concern was promoting, finding, was making material for explaining my intentional community goals. Intentional community goals. Vision for the colony. This is a blocking task, because without the words to explain what why you would it's remains as the singular focus for my GHDR related plans goals. Also, I switched from a production from a factory style productivity approach trope factory style productivity to what I'm calling an on-demand model. This model takes my ADHD, autistic traits, difficulties, challenges into account. It is too difficult to self-motivate a production role without stakeholders to enjoy that want to communicate, to talk about it. This is an ADHD executive function requirement. Having engaged people to collaborate with is an ADHD function requirement. Functional requirement. Pursue is to by recognizing it's too difficult to self-motivate without other stakeholders to talk to. This is a so this month I'm trying out let's make this a new paragraph. I also switched mm-hmm. Since having stakeholders to talk to is so important for my motivation. Um, also pursuing media opportunities to expand the number of people I am reaching. It's a good break from paid project work, and it's allowing me to indulge more in live streaming and other forms of communication. This includes more participation in the Coworking Discord and Discord servers other than my own. I just need to be talking to more people. Let's see, I have this I can get rid of. Discipline. Well, this is not disciplined way to approach your opponents. Here's a good reason for doing it this way. I need to reserve the small between two tasks. So let's see. Who's this? Strategic Horizons. More I talk about the challenges I'm facing in more detail below under Strategic Horizons. The Strategic Horizons section. Let's see. Overall, the month started with 2 weeks of depressive, but thanks to I identified and applied some mitigations that seem to help. Started poorly with 3 weeks of depression, very low productivity and energy. Productivity due to an extreme lack of connection with other people on my work. However, I identified and applied in some I hypothesized the month of August, the remainder period after the August GHGR report started poorly. Very low reported to extreme lack of communication with anyone. Extreme lack of meaningful communication. I deployed several, figured out some ways around it. By the end of the month, by the around the beginning of September, I found some ways to deal with it, which I have itemized in this report. So what got done? Let's start with what I got done, and then proceed from there. This I have not typo checked, or did I? This is the last part I need to proofread. The last part. Can I do it? I just want to go eat cheese. Should I get a piece of cheese? I feel my attention is starting to fade. At a meeting earlier, yeah. So I'm going to apply a mitigation, which is to eat a what are these called? A fireball? Oof. I have this giant thing of atomic fireballs. $60 calories per 30 calories per fireball. That should be enough sugar to maybe get my brain to keep working for another hour. Ugh. That'll take me almost all the way to 5 p.m., which is when I try to knock off of any thoughtful work and then just take a long break. I wonder if I can use this as like a lip gloss. Sort of. Works as like finger gloss. That little bit of silliness has given me a little bit more energy. So let's get back to it. Work-wise, I've been pushing to develop a modular data solution to refit older code that is in severe need this code also needed a lot of cleanup. The work has been extremely slow. And without interaction with anyone else. As I mentioned above, this is really bad for maintaining my motivation. This is really bad because lack of communication tanks my ability to self-motivate. I fell into a pretty deep depression from the lack of stimulation, work-related stimulation. I had to invent a new technique that I dubbed narrative-driven design. The idea is to write stories, daily stories, that transplant the work, that a parallel fictional universe that was more interesting. In my case, in this instance, I don't need to put that. I imagined Space 3 fixing a really old spaceship and had to figure out how to do it without breaking everything, as the ship was in active use. Well, this might seem like a waste of time. It was to harness. It was a way to substitute imaginative energy for the for external motivation, because I intrinsically enjoy doing this kind of multidisciplinary work. Writing about characters and their feelings. It helped. release the emotional frustrations I was had. Do. So if we're getting past this, I'm feeling pretty good. And but we are integrating some new people into the project that could help alleviate the under. That's the project that's coming up soon. So, taking the time, figure, what am I saying? I'm feeling pretty good. I shared the story I wrote with some friends, and they started doing it too. So I felt like I was part um, of a what fiction writing ring. It was part of something. It was fun. Which further improved my mood. I haven't had to do this in a while. It's a good trick to get unstuck, I think. Well, you have an idea what you want to see. All right, I think this is a good enough draft. I suppose I should reread it from the beginning, but I am kind of burnt out now at this point, and I don't want to reread it. Um, the only thing pushing me to reread this now is to like just try to shove this thing out there so I don't have to think about it anymore. Well, what I typically do is I release it as a draft, and then when I have some time to reread it, I can do that. So my convention has been to move this is from draft stage. You can see here it says like it says editing phase first draft. And first drafts are not included in the feed. So the site has a web feed. I think it's just feed. No, maybe it's not. Maybe it's RSS. Maybe it's Atom. Yeah. So yeah. So it won't make it into here. Well, this is the journal feed. I guess I don't have one for the entries. But you know, this will show up as call this regular energy and emotion. Second draft. That's this place it in. I can feel okay about releasing this and updating it later. Did I ever update the previous month? No, the previous month isn't there. Oh, there is one last thing. I need to make this photo. So now I need to find, and that will make it ready. There's a photo that I will make for um, that. I think I had picked a photo. Let's see. I was going to use these pictures of vegetables. I think it was this one. And so what I want to do is I want to edit this in Photoshop. And first, let's hit it with some. We need to get a better monitor. This monitor is really bad for color correction stuff. I really can't tell what it looks like. The color balancing is alright. So get a little texture. Let's pull the highlights back a little bit. Let's boost the whites. Do we need to boost the blacks? The blacks have been dropped down to -12. I guess that's alright. Add a little bit of, let's already push the vibrance up. Shadows are a little bit deeper. Let's give it a little bit of vignette. What is that so far out? Feather is set very high. I just want to give it a little bit. It helps darken the bottom a bit, so text will appear. Let's check for blown out highlights. Guess it's all right. Okay. Let's edit this with Lightroom adjustments. This is the beta. Is this beta expired? Guess not. Let's open my. Oh, this is like. Why is it even opening the beta? That's annoying. Maybe I should just remove it. Let me close this. I wonder if Lightroom will detect that I have the regular one open and send it there instead. Yes. I guess it did detect it. That's good. Unexpectedly helpful. And of course, now it's not actually loading anything. What just happened? Oh, actually, I had Command W. Do you want to open it, which is already running? If not, please. Yes, I do want to open it with that. Please open it. So, I guess there's too much to hope for. And it completely it asked me if I wanted to load the thing, and I said like it can proceed to not load it. Stupid. I wonder if there's how do you set it to use the if not, I do want to open it there. Why is this just not opening? Why is this so stupid? Let me just remove this dumb thing. Oh look, there's a new version of Creative Cloud to waste my time. It's probably added features like new marketing options. So what I want to do is just remove. I just want to remove the beta. I thought I'd done it earlier, but in fact, I don't even see it. Oh, here it is. How does this work again? Manage other versions. Oh, what is the beta? Is that here? Where is this app showing up? Go to. No, you piece of junk. Oh, just open the browser. I swear. Let's see if I can. Let's just move it to the trash. Let's close this piece of garbage. Oh, what did it just do now? Oh, now I'm seeing it. Oh, it was just not showing the dialog boxes in the windows, covering itself up. And what is it doing now? This has been an issue with Adobe software, really. Or actually, I'm not sure if it's an OS thing, but like missing dialog boxes on behind the application window. It seems to be happening mostly with Adobe apps, but I'm not sure. All right. I have decided that this is going to be the image for this month. And let's make a new layer. Oh, let me not do it that way. Let me duplicate the previous layer. Duplicate. There. This is September. And here's September. There's the logo mark. Let's remove that. Let's turn off August. Let's paste my photo in. Oops, what happened? Did I not copy that? Copy. Oh, I need to convert this to RGB. RGB 8-bit per channel. Okay, copy. Oh, I think I know what happened. There's this weird thing with, oops. There was an issue with the Command-Shift-C copy merge thing. If there are no layers, it doesn't work. Which I've always thought was kind of stupid. Is it still hiccuping? Okay. So we got that. We have that. And why was I going to use this? I was going to use this because, actually, I don't remember. Other than it was the only interesting picture I had taken in the last month. So what kind of analogy can I make up about this? The theme of the this month's post was something emotional dysregulation. What did I call it? Adobe. Wasn't that regulating energy and emotion? That has nothing to do with this. So I guess what I might do is just say like, here's this has nothing to do with, or I could call it like, I could name this making choices, choosing, choosing correctly, choosing choosing well. That's ambiguous enough. Choosing well. I mean, so like there's a whole bunch of vegetables that are there. Yeah. Or making healthy choices. Making healthy choices. I mean, although people might think it's about vegetables. Mental, mental, choosing well maybe is the thing. If I say choosing well, mm, I'll say I chose to reduce the scope of my main production, my immediate what do they call that? Immediate reduce the scope of my immediate productivity by picking one main goal and switching and being more opportunistic about the rest. This, I think, has helped. This has helped lower my anxiety. Helped lower my anxiety about not working fast enough, given the limits I have on energy. All right, I think that makes sense. And so now I need to change this caption, which is exploring the universe. I guess this is making choices to fit my Is this a caption? How do I do this? I don't remember. Previously, this says what? Exploring the universe solo. Um, July, the search for tribal belonging. June, silly poster. This here I'm just labeling it. What was the name of this? Community proceeds execution. What does that even mean? I don't know what I meant then. Um, you know what? Probably doesn't matter. Don't overthink it. But you know, making choices that fit my needs is not very exciting. Faced with choices. Maybe chat has an idea. What am I going to call this picture? I don't know. I'm going to say this like a local farm stand. Faced with choices. What are these? It's not a great title, but let's see. What size do I make these again? I want to say that these are usually 1200, 1200 by 900. JPEG quality 60, size is 339. Bump that down to 40%. Still have it hold. That's 213. What are the average sizes here? 107. What's the resolution? 1200 by 900 goods, but the average size of these pictures are about 150, 120K. Oh, so let's cancel that. Let's adjust this so it fits within that. I thought there was an option for that someplace to fit it within. This is a JPEG, right? Yeah. You know, 1200 used to be like high resolution retina grade. Now we're at 180. Let's check to make sure the text isn't blowing out. Now it's going to be printed smaller than 1200 full res, so this is probably okay, even though it doesn't look that good. Let's do that. Save. And it should be code GHDR title 0909. This is saving in the 23 folder. That's good. Oops, I had to update that too. This should be SEP 9. Should I move it in a different place? It seems to be actually not. That's actually a pretty good place for it, I think. Save that. Let's do it again. Did I say 1600 by 9? Or is it 1200? 1200 by 900. 30. 179. It's okay, I think. Where to go? Did I cancel it? I guess I did. 0909 GHDR title JPEG. Oh, it is there. Why couldn't I see it? All right, so that's saved. Well, that's done. We don't need this anymore. Close that. Close this. Close this. Killing my computer. And now I have to insert that up there. Let's grab that fragment here. IDG HDR. No, that's not. Is that right? Oh no, this is all oh, this is the wrong year again. I need to pay attention. So here is the title. And we're still in 2023. And let's update that to that. Let's rewrite this thing. Image of a farm stand display with many kinds of squash and pumpkins available. To choose from baskets. About the image. In trying to make healthier choices about not just nutrition, but my mental, about my emotional, about maintaining emotional maintaining to maintain better emotional regulation. In the face of tantalizing choice. Picture was taken at a nearby farm stand. Okay, am I done? I'm getting a little bit bored of my layouts here. I want to make sure that I'm hyphenating, or not hyphenating, emphasizing the colony so it stands out a little bit. find colony. Let's see, where is this? The colony is the colony. The colony. I think I've mentioned this a few times. So I think in the next proofread, which is not necessarily required, I'm pretty sure there's repetitions in here that I'm not catching because I've edited this in kind of in scattershot. I haven't done a complete from the top to bottom read, which would be the final, I guess, final for now draft. But it is 4:26, and I think I am as done as I'm going to be be with this. So let's upload this thing. Okay, so let's garden build. While that's happening, let me make additional change. Where is that? What? Oh, let's see. Oh no. Because I renamed that, I had to do this in 2 stages. I edited the text and also changed the file name since before the last commit, so it's lost like the edits. Look how much I've rewritten the whole thing basically, and that's staged as a second draft. What was the previous commit anyway? It was GHDR first. DR 0909 second draft. And now I'm going to rename that. And we want to prepare for publishing it. I'll stage this. Anything else need publishing here? Change GHDR 0909 from hidden to publish. Name of file. Let's see, we'll just commit all these things. What is this? That's a bug I fixed. Commit those later. I guess while I'm at it, let me update the task list. When did I start this? Was it 1:15? Yeah, 1:15. 1:15 p to about what? Let's say 4 o'clock. And then I think I only spent, I think I spent about half an hour on the image itself, but I don't know how much belly aching about Photoshop that I was doing. We'll call it 4:30 p.m. Post. Garten tasks up. It should update this screen now. Down at the bottom it says proof and post. Uh-oh. Did I screw this up? Nothing happened. Tasks dash up. It's hard to type on this keyboard with this microphone in the way. Always off by one key. All right, that seemed to work. Let's see if we see this update. It says proof and post. Watch. I think I have this on a 30-second refresh. Nothing's happening. Let's see. I wonder if I have to switch modes. That might be why. No, it didn't update. Did I not save this? Oh, that's because I don't actually have the watcher running, so it wasn't reprocessing it. Reprocessing. Okay. That should use the last build. That is updated. You should see it updated on the right sidebar there in a second or 10. There it goes. And so let's push this sucker up. So that's Garten deploy. And on this side, let's pull up dcsa.com. Let's go to, well, on this page, we should see another another one arise. This one is 2022. But I can also go to this page. Right now, the last thing that we see here is GHDR 0808. I'm typing Garten deploy. We should do an rsync with my static site server. And okay, checked all the links, so the links are good. If I refresh this, the top one should be September 9. Oh, and there it is. And that post is live. Thank goodness. And it's 4:30. And so that means it started around 1:15, 2, 3, another 3 hours. So the total time on this has been 12 hours from start to finish. Writing a GHDR post, which is about average. These do take a long time for me to do because I'm doing so much processing and thinking. And this is just to get to a second draft. There's got to be a better way of doing this. Anyone have any ideas? Let me know in the comments. So with that, I think I am done for the day. So I now have one complete log of doing a Groundhog Day resolutions report from start to finish. The one downside is the first live stream video, I had not updated my streaming quality. It was still at 720p, which is standard definition, because the setup I was using was for my old computer, which couldn't do Photoshop, all that stuff running at the same time as doing the streaming, whereas the new laptop can very easily. It's awesome. But I can totally feel, along the theme of emotional dysregulation, that my brain is ready to just kind of go bleh and just eat all the things and look on YouTube and shop for, I don't know. I probably am just going to lie down. I also haven't eaten since last night. I do cheat and have some coffee with a little bit of creamer in the morning just to provide a little bit of a boost of carbs and stimulation. But it's interesting that largely I don't need to eat Um, right now, having woken up and started doing things at 9, although I did have to take a little nap between 10 and 11 because there was a meeting I had to attend, and it was like I had done all this heavy work to prepare for it. Right around now, it's at about the time when my I have to start winding down so I can fall asleep before 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. rather. I've been trying to fall asleep by noon, not by midnight, so that gives me about 8 hours of sleep, which is about right. So figuring out how to regulate myself now from now on, now that my brain is tired and dysregulated and prone to binge activities. I guess that's what I should work on. I should make a little note of this in the report I just wrote. So let me do that because that's worth investigating. I think so. Let's sneak back into here. How come this is the wrong thing? I also need to like upload do the rest of the commits in my repo thing. Um, I'll just add this here. There's one more. Think how to regulate myself after 5 p.m. when I am mentally spent and prone toward dysregulated that could undermine my schedule. I don't have any mitigations for that. And let's throw an emoji in there. The thinking one. Hey, why didn't that work? Thinking. All right, so that's done. So let's do another yarn deploy because it just rebuilt that file, I believe. Because I have the watcher running, and it should be at the bottom of this. I just added it at the end of that. Will it work? Yep, it's in there now. All right, now I'm done. Thanks for watching. I don't know the next time I'll live stream is, but I want to do this more often, and that's part of the outreach for developing this colony idea, and then finding other people who might want to help me make this place where there's a certain culture of doing and sharing experiences and being affirming and emphasizing, making better a better place for people who are like me to hang out and not feel like an alien all the time. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put on the closing screen and give the stream about 30 seconds to continue buffering, and then I will stop. All right. Bye.